The Detroit Lions are taking on the San Francisco 49ers at Santa Clara, 6:30 Sunday afternoon for the NFC Championship game, and they are going to win and head to the Super Bowl. Now, before I start, I want to make it clear that I think the Lions are going to win this game, and I'm going to get into why in this video, break down everything that I think is going to happen and why. But as a Lions fan, I'm still extremely nervous, and I think the Lions could easily lose this game. First off, the 49ers are far more experienced in the playoffs than the Detroit Lions. They're more experienced with their players and coaching staff. But on the other hand, the Lions play hard. They have the grit. They are still well coached. They have a great culture in their locker room, great chemistry between the players. But Kyle Shanahan is going to be prepared, and he's been here before. The first key for Detroit is we need to be able to run the ball. If we can't run the ball, the 49ers secondary is extremely scary. And if we have no run game, no play action, Goff is going to be struggling to find open wide receivers. And then we might get some, Goff starts trying to force some things, which he hasn't yet in the playoffs, but I could definitely see that happening if we have no run game. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Gibbs is going to have an amazing game against the 49ers. Against the Rams, Gibbs had 25 yards off of 8 attempts rushing and a touchdown, 4 receptions for 40 yards. And then against Tampa, had 9 attempts for 74 yards rushing and a touchdown, and another 4 receptions for another 40 yards. The Lions offensive line has been playing amazing. Penei Sewell was the highest rated player last week. He's been dominating. Obviously, the 49ers defensive line, again, it's very strong. And Goff is going to be under pressure at times in this game. I think we're going to see a lot of Gibbs dumping it off to Gibbs in space if Goff is under pressure. And we saw what Gibbs can do when he's in space. I wouldn't be surprised if he has 2 20+ yard plays. The next big thing I think for the Lions is going to be the start of the game and coming out of the locker room after halftime. I think those 2 moments, how the Lions come out and start both of the halves, are going to dictate how this game goes. The Lions don't have the luxury of playing at Ford Field with their home crowd, but I don't think you should count them out just because of it. If the Lions come out strong, I think the Lions could dominate this game. Brock Purdy, he is a young quarterback. It's only his 2nd year in the league, and we saw against the Packers, he can make some great throws, but he also can make some silly mistakes. Now, it was raining in that game. He still did have a terrible throw, which was a dropped interception, and 2 other just throws that could have been picked off if they're a little bit worse. The Lions start strong. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Purdy start to make some mistakes, the 49ers to start getting a little nervous, and the Lions to take over this game. But the same can be said for the Lions, and that's what I'm more nervous about. If the Lions start rough, they get behind early, they're away, it's going to be really hard for them to fight back. And we've seen how games have gone this season when Goff and the Lions have a tough start to the game. It's sometimes hard for them to dig out of that hole, especially like against the Ravens. Terrible start, and it just went downhill from there. We're going to need Goff to not make any silly mistakes. He's had 1 in each of the 2 playoff games so far. Luckily, it didn't amount to anything negative, but it definitely could. He had the fumble against the Rams, and then the end zone, what should have been an end zone interception against the Bucs. Luckily, it was dropped. If Goff doesn't make any silly mistakes like that, that will be huge. With the San Francisco defensive line, Goff is going to be under pressure. Now, I'm interested to see how much pressure he'll be under, because this Lions offensive line is playing extremely well, and it's going to be a totally different game with the atmosphere. They're going to be playing hard as they have in the playoffs, and Goff has had a lot of time to throw, even against a strong Rams and pretty strong Bucs defense. Goff has been pretty good under pressure this season. I've seen some statistics which have shown him to be really good under pressure this season. However, he is not mobile. He's not as mobile as Jordan Love. He's not going to be able to roll out to his right and left. That's why I think it's important that we get the run game going, and for Goff to get the ball out early and not take sacks. And if the pressure gets to him and he throws some interceptions, that could be game changing. A lot of people are worried about Goff playing on the road. He's definitely not as good on the road as he is at home, Ford Field, but Santa Clara, it's going to be a high of 74, a low of 54, I believe, on Sunday, and sunny. It's California. He's literally at home. This is his hometown. This is where he went to college. Goff, I think it's going to be really important for him to get in a rhythm, and I think the Lions could do that. Get him a few completions, a few first downs. We saw what he did against the Rams. First 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. With the Lions run game, we saw Aaron Jones break out for 2 pretty big runs against San Francisco. Now, he did struggle. He didn't have consistent 5-yard runs, but seeing him, I mean, Aaron Jones, he's a good running back, but he's older, and I don't think he's near as good as Jahmyr Gibbs and maybe even David Montgomery. If Aaron Jones can do that, I'm just excited to see what Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery will do to the San Francisco defense. I think Gibbs is going to have a big game. But for this Lions defense, a lot of people are concerned, especially, obviously, I'm concerned with the Lions secondary. Sutton has been struggling, but he has gone up against some super strong wide receivers over the past few weeks. Justin Jefferson, Puka Nacua, Mike Evans. That's where the pass rush comes in. Aaron Glenn has been cooking up some pretty strong blitzes. We've seen Brian Branch, Melifonwu, Aiden Hutchinson is playing amazing, and these guys want it bad. This, again, with the locker room culture, this Lions team just has something about them, and if they can take down Purdy, put him under pressure, make him throw an interception. We saw 2 against Baker Mayfield last week. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions pick off Purdy at least once in this game. The Lions have one of the strongest rush defenses in the NFL right now. Now, Christian McCaffrey is Christian McCaffrey. He's going to run the ball. He's going to have 2 or 3 10-yard runs. It's going to be huge, though, for the Lions to make open field tackles. That is going to be a huge difference with Debo's screens. I'm unsure how healthy he will be. He's banged up, but even assuming he's 100% healthy, I think the Lions will still win this game, but it's going to be critical to make open field tackles. If McCaffrey gets a hole and makes one of our guys miss, he could break out for 60 yards. See a lot of quick releases from Purdy on screens. It's going to be huge for the Lions to blow those up and take down the players when they get a chance. Missed tackles could be the kryptonite for this Lions defense. But Jordan Love was able to throw against this Niners defense, and now it's Jared Goff throwing to Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Reynolds, who has been unbelievable, making great catches, running great routes, from great throws from Goff. We've seen Gibbs on receptions, again, 4 in each of the last 2 games. In space, he's unstoppable. If in one of these runs, if he breaks one more tackle, he could break off for 50 yards. McCaffrey's going to run the ball, but against the Packers were stopping McCaffrey. He was stopped at the line of scrimmage a lot, and I think the Lions could do the same. Again, it's McCaffrey. He's going to have 60-plus yards, but I think the Lions can slow him down and hold him to be less explosive. If the 49ers are putting together long drives down the field and the Lions defense is getting tired, that is also going to be where it's going to be really rough for the Lions defense. That's when McCaffrey usually does break out for his long 30-yard touchdown runs. But the Lions offense has been driving. They've been taking up time off the clock, running the ball strong. Goff, he's been getting into solid rhythms with passes to Laporta, St. Brown. Resting our defense, that is huge, and I think that's going to happen. I have a lot of faith in our offensive line and our run game that I think will definitely take off, because also our wide receivers, St. Brown, Reynolds, Williams, and Laporta, our tight ends, they block so well into the second level, and that's huge for our run game as well, for our screens, for our dump offs. I think we're going to have some checkdowns that go for a lot of yards. A lot of people think this game is going to be a bit of a higher scoring game. I think it's going to be on the lower scoring end. It's going to be huge. We need to make our field goals. The 49ers secondary is super strong, especially in the red zone. I think we're going to be kicking a lot of field goals. It's going to be crucial for Goff to continue to not force any bad throws. I don't think he will. I think Goff's going to have a solid game, and our offensive line is going to stay strong. Gibbs, we're going to get a run game going, and our defense is going to be able to limit Purdy, limit McCaffrey. It's also going to be huge for the Lions not to throw the game away with penalties or fumbles. There's obviously all the things about the Super Bowl logo colors and how it's going to be the Ravens and 49ers. Let's hope the refs don't play a big role in this game and some bad calls against the Lions, or just the Lions players, bad PI, false starts, holdings. We cannot have any of that. We have to have a clean game. Overall, I think the Lions are going to win this game 23-17, total of 40 points. I think Goff is going to have some good throws, no interceptions. He's definitely going to take some sacks, but hopefully, I don't think he will. Hopefully he doesn't make any bad throws and force anything. He's definitely going to get sacked a few times. I think Goff will be able to stay strong. He's not going to roll out as Jordan Love does, but I don't think he's going to need to with how solid our wide receiver group is. Tight ends and Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery out of the backfield. I think our run game get going and be strong. And our defense is definitely, we're going to give up some yards to Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Kittle. I mean, we saw Kate Otten against us. Kittle's probably going to have a big game. I think the Lions win. I think Purdy is going to get a little bit rattled. We're going to sack him a few times. Hutch, hopefully a big sack. Maybe Melifonwu again. Branch was, he was flying in there that one play where he barely stepped over for the false start. I mean, Aaron Glenn has gotten some good packages together. Let's hope our secondary can play at their max potential. I think the Lions win this game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle, and the Lions come through. I think the key though, if the Lions can rattle Purdy, sack him a few times, force him to throw a bad, pick him off, that will be huge and game changing. I'm confident in my pick, but at the same time, I'm not. I'm so nervous for this game. I feel like you can't be confident with your pick. It's the 49ers. It's the Lions. I've never watched the Lions win 2 playoff games and then go to the NFC Championship in my life. I've never seen the Lions win a playoff game in my life. So obviously, I'm pissing down my leg, shitting bricks. I'm nervous as hell. I think the Lions can pull this game through. I think we're going to see Gibbs again rush for about 40 yards, solid, maybe 50. I think Gibbs is going to be solid in the receiving game. That's going to be the case on the other end of the ball. If the Lions can put a little pressure on Purdy, we're going to see a lot of dump offs to McCaffrey, and McCaffrey in space is lethal. We saw it against the Packers. We've seen it our whole lives. And the Lions need to make open field tackles. We can't let McCaffrey go for 80-yard touchdowns. Laporta and St. Brown have just been amazing. I think the Lions offensive line is better than the 49ers offensive line. I think the Lions wide receiver group is stronger than the Packers wide receiver group. St. Brown, again, Reynolds, Laporta. I think the Lions, they can win this game now. A lot of people, I think, are siding with the Lions to win this game. That makes me even more nervous because usually if the underdog is favored, that's usually when the underdog just loses. And the 49ers just had a close game. And then I think that's why people think they're beatable. And usually when that happens with a team, they just come out and destroy their next opponent. So that's what I'm nervous about. You have to let me know what you guys think in the comment section below because there's just so much to go into this game. Obviously, I'm so nervous for this game. I can't sleep. Again, with McCaffrey, I mean, the Packers, they were stopping him. He was getting a lot of just 2-yard runs, 1-yard runs. They're blowing him up at the line of scrimmage. They dump it out to McCaffrey on a screen, and he was getting tackled right away. If the Lions can do that, which I know that they're capable of it, they can do it consistently, start off strong, get that confidence at the beginning of the game, quiet the crowd a little bit, maybe score a touchdown in the opening drive. That would be huge. And with the Lions' run defense, I think we can tackle up McCaffrey. If some of my predictions are right, with the Lions getting a little pressure on Purdy, McCaffrey getting stuffed a few times, I think Purdy is going to have maybe 2 big 10-15-yard runs, just rolling out of the pocket. Purdy can throw it good on the run, so he likes to roll out, and he's very athletic. He can run the ball. We saw Baker Mayfield run it a few times. We've seen it a lot in the playoffs. I think quarterbacks just run the ball a lot more in the playoffs. I think that will definitely happen with Purdy. That's going to be the end of my analysis. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Again, go Lions. Let's make it to the Super Bowl. I think we're going to win, but I'm very nervous. And I'm confident, but not confident at all. So I don't really know how to explain it. I feel like I'd be a fool to be confident that the Lions are going to 100% beat the 49ers. I mean, this is the 49ers. This is their, 5th NFC Championship game in a row? Oh my gosh. But Kyle Shanahan he's also going to he's going to cook some stuff up. I'm really worried. I think I'm mostly worried about the secondary of the 49ers. The Lions wide receivers are going to get open, but when they're covered, Goff needs to hold onto that ball, throw it away, or take a few-yard sack, hopefully throw it away. I think Lions got to get that run game going. I think we're going to be able to do it. I'm not going to repeat myself anymore. I could talk about this game for all day, every day, and just say the same things over and over because I'm so excited and so nervous at the same time. Go Lions. Let's go to the Super Bowl.